Sign up with my Webull link, get 10 free shares. Link will be in the description below. So, growing my stock portfolio to $1 million. So, two positions I'm in is a 2 times Bitcoin ETF and a 2 times Netflix ETF. And let's start off talking about Netflix today. So, Netflix. Today, Netflix is down 0.94%. On a daily chart, we're still above the 9-day moving average, which is pretty good. Even though we had a pretty, gloomy day for Netflix, right? On the 30-minute time chart, I was kind of, it was like kind of awful, I'd say. It was a little choppy for Netflix. The reason I say that is because the 9-day moving average in the pre-market was above the 20. And so I thought, okay, I guess the momentum is going to carry on towards the upside. And the pre-market candle was 82.75. We're probably going to try to retest that, previous high of the pre-market. That didn't happen. We just tried to, we broke below the 9 and 20. Then we tried breaking out of it. Then we got rejected. And then we got rejected here. And then we just ended up being under the 9 and 20-day moving average. And then you can see here in the middle of the day, around 12 or I guess 11:30, the 9 crossed below the 20-day moving average, and we just finished in the red. So we actually finished below the 9-day moving average. Now on the 4-hour time chart, the trend is still looking pretty good. Right now we're on the 20-day moving average. For whatever reason, if Netflix decides to see a little pullback tomorrow, I expect for Netflix to pull back to the 50-day moving average. I mean, we've used the 50-day moving average as support here. We used it here. We used it here. You get the point, right? So, if we do see a slight pullback, I expect for Netflix to pull back to the 50-day moving average and use it as support. But if we can sustain ourselves on the 20-day moving average and not break below it, then we should be good. But we'll have to see what happens. On the weekly chart, I did mention that we did actually make it over the 20-day moving average, but unfortunately, once again, we're below the 20-day moving average. The 20-day moving average reads 80.99, and currently, so we closed at 81.46. I'm sorry. So we're still above the 20-day moving average, but currently after hours, it's reading 80.82. So we'll have to see what happens tomorrow for Netflix. So the next thing I want to talk about is Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, we're going to talk about. And actually, the Bitcoin ETF position is up $696. So not bad. So let's look at Netflix. Bitcoin. Bitcoin is down 0.50% on the daily chart. We're still above the 90-day moving average, which is pretty good. Now on the 4-hour time chart, I'm seeing an inverse head and shoulders pattern. And let's see if I can draw it, but I promise it's not going to look good, but let's see if I can do it. That's the shoulder. That looks so awful. That's the head. And I guess you can say this is the second shoulder. And you basically get the point, right? So I pretty much see that there could be a possibility that, that Bitcoin could start reversing to the upside. So we'll probably try to retest that previous high of 81,193 and see if we can try to break out that, level of resistance. So also another thing, on the 30-minute time chart, the 9-day moving average recently crossed over the 20 and 50-day moving average. So, as long as the momentum towards the upside can, as long as the 9-day moving average is above both of those moving averages, then the momentum to the upside could still possibly continue. So on the 4-hour time chart, it's looking like we're trying our best to gain control of using the 20-day moving average as support. So it looks like at one point we did go below the 20, but then we regained control of it. So by the looks of it, it looks like the 20-day moving average is pretty good to use as support for now, I'd say. The reason I say that is because I used it here and I used it here, and basically we regain control of it here. So I'd say for now, if Bitcoin can keep using the 20-day moving average as support, we should be good. But if not, then we could see a pullback to the 50-day moving average. So the next thing I want to talk about is an update on the $1,000 paper trading challenge. And basically, I'm in SpaceX call options, and basically the SpaceX call options expire September 18th, this year. And basically, let's look at SpaceX, right? On the daily chart, well, I guess today, SpaceX was up 1.22%. We actually tried breaking above the 50-day moving average, but could barely break it. So on the 4-hour time charts, let's see. Let's look at it on the 30-minute time chart. So basically in the pre-market, we were below the 9-day moving average, and then basically we saw SpaceX bounce off the 180 or 200-day moving average. We actually broke above these top three moving averages, the 9, the 20, and 50, but then got rejected. Same here goes for the next candle, and then basically we made a little stair step case to the upside, and we finally broke above both the 9, the 20, and 50-day moving average, and we finished over the 9-day moving average. So I basically see, SpaceX continuing this momentum to the upside for tomorrow. Now in the 4-hour time chart, it's looking pretty bullish. Yesterday we saw the crossover of the 9-day moving average happen yesterday. And so to me, that indicated that there could be a possibility that today, that the momentum to the upside was still going to continue for today. Today. So that's basically what happened. And another thing that just happened is the 9-day moving average currently in the pre-market has crossed over the 50-day moving average. So we'll have to see if this momentum to the upside can still continue, or we could possibly see a little small pullback to the 9-day moving average or 50-day moving average. We'll have to see what happens tomorrow. So that's pretty much it. I mean, on the weekly chart, I can't really tell on the weekly chart, but today it looked like we had a little bit of trouble, trying to break out the 9-day moving average. And I guess the 9 and 50-day moving average. But for now, I'd say the momentum to the, I guess the trend for SpaceX is still bullish for now, but we'll have to see what happens for tomorrow for SpaceX. And that's basically an update on the portfolio and an update on the $1,000 paper trading challenge. That's pretty much it. I'll keep you guys updated. Peace.